Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we will be discussing rule number 7, that is risk of collision. So without wasting any time, let's start. Rule number 7, part A. Every vessel shall use all available means appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions to determine if risk of collision exists. If there is any doubt, such risk shall be deemed to exist. So, what this rule is trying to say, every vessel shall use all available means appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and conditions. Shall use all available means. By all available means, we mean could be radar, can be AIS, and visually, and radar plotting. These are the aids we have on board, on bridge, by which we can determine if the risk of collision exists. Every vessel shall use all available means appropriate to the prevailing circumstances and condition to determine if risk of collision exists or not. And in case if you find that you are in doubt and you are not sure if there is any risk of collision or not, in that case you will assume that risk of collision exists. Shall be deemed means assumed that it will happen. Okay, this rule very straightforward, nothing much to explain. Coming to rule number part B, proper use shall be made of radar equipment if fitted and operational, including long range scanning to obtain early warning of risk of collision and radar plotting or equivalent systematic observation of detected object. Okay, so let's dig deep into this rule. So proper use of radar equipment shall be made if fitted. If you have radar equipment on board, then you have to make a proper use of this equipment to determine the risk of collision. Okay, if fitted and operational, obviously, including long range scanning to obtain early warning of risk of collision. This is also very straightforward why you should use long range scanning, that is to obtain early warning of risk of collision. I will explain you how you really do that. Okay, let's suppose let's say this is your radar screen. Okay, and you are in the center, you are this, and your radar is currently set at 12 nautical miles. Now if you have any vessel that is inside this 12 nautical mile range, it will appear here, but if there is any vessel that is outside, then it will not show. Okay, if there is any vessel that is coming down, it will not show. So that is why they are trying to say here is sometimes you have to increase your range scale, so that now you will increase your range scale so that your these targets will become visible on your radar screen. How? This is 12, so this will become 24, and these targets are inside 24, so you can see on your radar screen all these targets. So that is why sometimes you will increase your range scale so as to get a better understanding of the situation that is going to develop in the future. Okay, so that is what they are trying to say here. And then they say obtain early warning of risk of collision and radar plotting or equivalent systematic observation of detected object. Radar plotting is basically a manual plotting which will help you determine if the risk of collision exists. When you will do your ROC course, There they will teach you how to do radar plotting, but now on ships nobody uses radar plotting, nobody does that. It is not in practice, it is obsolete, so don't worry about it. Then there is something called equivalent systematic observation of detected object. This is basically ARPA. This is ARPA. Here we have manual plotting, this is automatic plotting. This ARPA is integrated with your radar, and it does all the systematic observation of the object, of the target that you have selected automatically. So again, this is manual and this is automatic plotting. Okay. Okay, fine. So till here I think everything is clear, nothing much to explain, very straightforward. Till TSS, everything is very straightforward. Everything's, the situations start to become little different when we will discuss rules in part B, which will be vessel in sight of one another. Actions, what actions you will take when the vessels are in sight of one another. Coming to part C, assumptions shall not be made on the basis of scanty information, especially scanty radar information. Very straightforward, but you need to know the meaning of this. Meaning of this word scanty is insufficient. That's it. Put a insufficient in place of scanty, and this part of the rule is also very straightforward. Assumptions shall not be made on the basis of insufficient information, especially insufficient radar information. Okay, nothing much to explain, very straightforward rule. Part D, in determining risk of collision, the following considerations shall be among those taken into account. Okay, so this will need little explaining. 1. Such risk shall be deemed to exist if compass bearing of an approaching vessel does not appreciably change. All right, so you are here, and then there is this one vessel that is will possibly crossing you. This vessel is going like this and you're going straight like this. Now if you take the bearing, compass bearing of this vessel, let's say it comes 40 degrees. After some time, this vessel will be somewhere here. Okay, then again you will be somewhere here, and you will take the compass bearing still 40. Okay, then again you will be here, this vessel will be here, you took compass bearing, again comes to be 40. Compass, you here and this here, again compass bearing. So what you are saying is there is no change in compass bearing. It was 40, 40, 40 and 40. So if the situation is like this, then it is deemed that you are running into risk of collision and you will definitely collide with the ship. So always remember, your compass bearing need to change. If it's not changing, you are running into collision. Okay, so now in rule 2 they say such risk may sometime exist even when an appreciable change is evident, particularly when approaching a very large vessel or a tow, or approaching a vessel at a close range. So they are saying that risk of collision can still exist even there is a change in the compass bearing. If say 40, 40, then it becomes here 45, becomes 50, becomes 55. This rule is trying to say it can still exist in risk of collision. How? They have given 3 cases. How can it still run into risk of collision. Part 1, very large vessel, a tow, or when approaching a vessel at a close range. They have given two instances where the risk of collision can exist even if there is a evident change in compass bearing. Number one, when approaching a very large vessel. Secondly, a tow. Okay, I will explain you how what they're trying to mean. So there is a risk of collision when approaching these two at a close range. Okay, please pay attention. This they are trying to say at a close range, only at a close range. Okay, so let's say you are here and you have a very large vessel. Okay, let me make like here. Okay, you have a very large vessel coming up. So now once you take a bearing here, let's say from you took a bearing from here, you are taking bearing, you're taking bearing, and you're taking bearing, and each time it is coming different, and you consider that I'm going to pass clear because there is a change in compass bearing. But the problem is this is a very large vessel, so you might not collide here, but you may collide here. Remember, this is at a close range, not very far. If this vessel is very far, then you can consider as a small vessel, but when it is at close range, this vessel is very big and you have to consider the length of this vessel. So again, when you are at a very close range and you have a very big vessel and you take compass bearing from the forward mast, then there is a chance that you may collide above of the point where you took the bearing. So you have to keep this in mind when you are approaching a very large vessel at a close range. Okay, and same situation is with the tug and tow. You are here and this guy is towing. Okay, so you are checking the bearing of this guy, but you may end up colliding here. So always keep this in mind when at a close range for a very large vessel and a tow. You have to be very careful when you take compass bearing of these, especially at a close range.